Hi, I'm high, and I'm just taking my buds out because I have been listening to an interesting selection, shuffle of music to prepare me for this video with my wonderful non-sponsored Sony earbuds. Love them. So thank you, Sony, for not your non-sponsored product or your product non-sponsored by you. Uh, I thought I had my song title for this episode picked out. But then just one thing led to another. um, I'll tell you what songs I listened the last 4 songs I've listened to. Okay, so I listened to oh no 5 songs. I listened to "Feel Like Making Love" by Bad Company. Horn dogged over that. I got horny over that. In fact, well, I'll get back to that. But anyway, um, and I thought, oh, well, that would be an interesting title for my episode. And then right after that, Barracuda. And then, I read up on Barracuda, how that's the origin of that song. And apparently, uh, Ann Wilson was approached by, and like people wrote, like spread rumors and a story, or like make up a whole story where she and Nancy were having an incestuous affair, and God, why anyone stays in the record business is not, and of course this is also back in the 70s and 80s. Um, where women had even less of a, you know, voice as they do now, or have to constantly deal with that bullshit. Men, you're just not worth it. You're not worth it. So just get over yourself. You're just not worth it. We're not interested. Okay? And if that makes you lonely, well, just put your little pink jammies on, get in bed with your teddy bear, and watch some cartoons or something. Occupy yourself so much. How did I get off on that? Well, first of all, because I almost did this, my off hours from Housing Works. The Serenity, I only have one left, and it has to last me until the end of this week. I know, it's such a terrible problem to have. But anyway, that's why I'm going off on tangents galore as we speak. So thank you, Housing Works, for carrying off hours, especially that Serenity. It's very good. But I also just have to show you, I use these at other times. But I decided to get this. This is the Green Lady brand, also sold by Housing Works. And this was called the Painkiller. Now every gummy I take eases my RA pain. But I thought, what the heck? Plus, it sounded really good. Tropical gummy with coconut, pineapple, nutmeg. It is very delicious, very easy to chew, and vegan. So yeah, I recommend these too, but I'm not on these tonight because these are kind of for other times of the calendar. So anyway, Barracuda came on. So when I heard that song, I was just like, you know what? Because look, oh, can you see it? It's around the sun. I voted early today because for some reason I don't know what happened, but I didn't get my absentee ballot. I wonder what happened. um, we're living in an oligarchical, right? Because baby girl, an oligarchical country now, state, country state. an oligarchy. Um, it's not good, but I will vote until they take voting rights away for women. And that's not a right then, that's a privilege that you've temporarily given us. That's via George Carlin, the dear great George Carlin. They're not rights if you can take them away. They're privileges. And that's all that most people in this country have ever had. I'm off on this, but I felt, well, so I was afraid I wasn't going to get my absentee ballot in time. And, you know, city, local, state elections, midterms are just as important, if not more so, because if you can change things at the city level, then that can snowball into give you strength to go to the state level, and then I am not a political scientist or historian in any way, shape, or form, but I do know, I don't know why I'm doing this. Well, I'm doing it so you can see that I had my early voting sticker today. And baby girl is so proud of me too. She's coming to say hello. Hi. Yeah, she's such a good girl. And she's calming me. So anyway, vote, vote, vote. I did it. And I just want to thank everyone who works at my polling site and all the polling sites and that volunteer their time to do this. It's an act of social advocacy. And that's something that a true American in my mind, would be something a true American would do. Participate in it's not a democracy, but participate, engage. And so I wish I could do more of that. I try to do it in the ways that I can. With chronic illness, it makes it really hard, and working full time. And still not yet being fully medicated for it to get it into remission finally. But it's coming. So I'm excited about that. That was a good thing to hear. And where was I going with this? Anyway, so please vote, early vote. I know it's a federal crime that they should make. But of course, why would they make Election Day a federal holiday? It goes against their interest of just getting the least amount of people to vote, especially about the really important bills and laws, policies that just insane people, or just really, it was funny for some reason this morning while I was having my morning coffee, I started a conversation with J.D. Vance in my head. It was a short conversation, and it was one-sided, but if I had a chance to say anything to him, and of course he's just one of, I would say this to everyone who pretends to be a Christian like he does, or purports to be, or any faith actually, but Christianity and so in my head I came up with this little thing where I'm like interviewing him, and in the midst of it I said, "Do you believe in hell?" And I'm assuming he would say yes, and I would say, "Well, you're going there." I don't believe in hell, but you believe in hell. And I know about the reasons you've given, Christianity has given, and you exhausted those in my mind. And so That's it's eternal, right? Eternal hell. We live in hell for eternity, burn for eternity. Who knows? I don't know if you just like if it's like a fiery pit, like when uh, Gollum, poor Gollum. That's our government right now is Gollum. Just a bunch of Gollums, you know. You can put the fancy Savile Row suit on and whatever, but you know what I'm just saying. You see these people, they're wearing tailored suits. They're, what did I just read? Like, out of the past, like, 20 weeks, Congress has worked like 17 days. That's a lot of vacation time that I have never had in my entire life put together. Paid vacation time, I should add. Anyway, so please vote. Vote, vote, vote. Doesn't matter. I remember Mama Cass saying this right before she sang a beautiful duet with uh, John Denver. And it was for like a voting drive, I think. There was a televised thing, and she said, it doesn't matter who you vote for, but vote. Exercise your right to vote. Because, you know, she didn't say this, but the importance of it, because this may be the last time we're able to vote. And who knows how seriously it'll be taken, you know, all the rules and regulations henceforth, you know. So do it while you can, for what it's worth. You know, they've won if they can defeat you so easily. Um, I just posted something on IG from it was like an interview with Chris Hedge, and he was discussing how we were, you know, we're not a democracy, you know, uh, we're an oligarchy, and that's going to lead either to tyranny or revolution. And I'm all for revolution. You know, I'm not even supposed to be here. I'd rather not have been here because it's been a very challenging existence that I took no part in and had no say in. It still fucking upsets me. But anyway, so the songs. And then Blondie's Call Me. But then it was an extended version that I don't remember being online, but maybe I just didn't realize at the time. And so I forwarded through that, and then Flock of Seagulls, Space Age Love Song. And I just remember that video, and I loved the lead guitarist and just the way they played. It was a great riff. I really liked it. Listen to me, but it was a really good riff. I don't know. It was so good, and it has like it has a deepness to it, a richness to it, and it has a it has a sophisticated but also emotional sound to it. I don't know, it really got me off. But then, and you know, it's interesting because, well, they were playing instruments and, you know, keyboards, etc. And I was really digging that song because I've always loved that song. That's why it's on my playlist. And then right after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to the video. And then all of a sudden the song came on. I'm like, what is the song? And it turned out to be Secret by Madonna. Now, I like 5 or 6 of her songs. I'm not a big Madonna fan, no offense. I mean, I loved her in Dangerously Seeking Susan. She was good. I think she just played herself. But, yeah, but she was good. And, of course, she had a good cast to go with, and the music was good. Um, but I was like, why did I pick this song? And then I'm listening to it, and it sounds so different from all the previous songs I mentioned. Even Flock of Seagulls, Space Age Love Song, because I mean that had a lot of techie sound. You know, it was very what's the word I'm looking for? Electronic sounding. But you know from what if you watch the video for it, they're playing drums and they're playing guitar and they're playing keyboards. And I saw it, and it sounds like it. And then to go into her song, which is not a bad song. I mean, it's got a nice beat. You know, a lot of her songs have a good beat to it. And I don't really know what the lyrics mean. I'm high, but I just wasn't. But I mean, it sounds like spooky and sexy. It does. It's a Madonna. It's got a groove to it and everything. But I was like, now this sounds, and I think there's like a guitar solo in there or something. But I mean, very electric, but not in the same way. You know what I'm saying? It sounds very clubbish, as opposed to like Flock of Seagulls, that that kind of electronic that they were messing with back in the 70s and 80s, like Devo and Flock of Seagulls. And but then I thought, what if they sampled? I'm going to do this shout out to Trixie, who is the only DJ I know, and I'm going to give her an idea for a good sample, and if she uses it, I get to be a guest on Bald and Beautiful with her and Katya. And that's all I asked for. That much. And of course, fair and accommodation because I have no money. But if you took a sampling of Madonna's Secret and Full Circle, Bad Companies Feel Like Making Love. And I think you have, for some reason, I'm intuiting that this will be a great club track. And there you have it. Trixie, call me, email me, let me know if you're interested in the collab. Not that I'm Madonna or Flock of Seagulls, but as, I don't know what I would be. Can you just make me a producer or something, or I get some amount of money for the idea? But I wouldn't copyright it. I have very conflicting. I know some people are. I imagine most people be like, "What do you mean, no fucking copyright? How do people get their money?" Blah 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 blah. It's in the Constitution, or it was in the Constitution. Copyright law has been vastly expanded in length, like the amount of time you have copyright ownership over something. It used to be 17 years, and then maybe 17 years after you died. But now it's what in perpetuity. I don't know, but it's, and you know, how do you copyright? I was just reading how hard that Barracuda riff, they took that from a Nazareth song, and she said that when the Nazareth band, members of the band, were pissed at them for taking that riff, and I had never known that. And now I have to listen to Nazareth, who I was not really into back then. But maybe I'll have to hear that, see if I can hear that riff that Heart stole. But that's the thing. And she even said it herself. She goes, "We steal stuff from people all the time, and they stole from people behind them, and generation after generation after generation. It doesn't just happen. No matter what little unique spin you put on it. That song has a very long history. There, and I parched because I'm high. But anyway, so you'll know the title of the song or title of this episode when I when I post it, because I still haven't decided, but I thought that was a really good idea. And also, I really would love to see more people. I transferred I changed it in my bio because I had a Spotify account, though I no longer subscribed to it. I was still listening to it with the tons of commercials or ads for things that I would never buy. And knowing the bad, hearing the the bad news about them. I mean, just that their very existence is only to sell ads. They don't feel like there's any integrity about the music or whatever. It's all about selling ads. And but I really missed my playlist, and so I got a free month's YouTube Premium, and with that came the premium music. And I think I'm going to get a yearly subscription because hell, my channel is on YouTube. Most of the people I watch are on YouTube. And I don't have to have, it just seems like a much freer platform. But of course, they're being sued now. Somebody at work, I can't remember where I heard it, but like the government is suing like all of the social media apps, networks, whatever, for like destroying children, harming children. And I just have to say, that's a parent's job, first and foremost. The only reason those children are on those apps is because they're either using their parents' phone or their parents have given them a phone. And of course, most parents are on their phones all the time. I see this all the time. Everybody is on their phones all the time. I'd say 98% of New Yorkers are on their phones all the time. I think that's a conservative. And then I'm like, it's your responsibility as a parent to tell your children, to teach your children, your values. And this is what I'm thinking here, like about parents. Like, you don't even know what your values are. How are you going to teach them to your children? Anyway. How did I get off on that? Oh, the whole stuff about the thing they were going to sue them. All these, and I understand how addictive they can be. I used to be on Facebook quite a lot. I haven't been on it in ages. I think I tried to get back on it once, and I'm so like lost in I don't know. Whatever, I don't care. I will never go on Facebook again. And I'm not even on Pinterest anymore, well, because I'm on Instagram more, doing like little shorts and my social justice Saturdays and my different days of advocating for certain things. And nobody's going to be perfect with this. You can't not be helping the bad people profit, make huge, what's the word I'm looking for? Unconscionable profits. because there's just like 5 different people who own everything, and it's very hard to unscramble that. But anyway, so with if and I believe I will do it because I mean I'd be supporting my own platform, so it sounds like a decent thing to do, right? While it's still around, um, tearing shit down left and right around here. Um, but then I also, and I think this is because I think I got like a spam or like a scam. Somebody was scamming me. I was being scammed. I got some text about somebody's been trying to verify order on your Amazon or whatever. So you know what? I went on Amazon and I hadn't used it in months anyway. Um, and I know it's hard. They have become so indispensable to people because we think that we can't live without them. Everything one day away at most, most of the time, overnight delivery of everything. But it comes at a very, very, very heavy, high cost to human life, to animal life, to our environment, to our policy making that affects all of those things. So I completely deleted my Amazon account. And I felt like this lift, because even though I had canceled, or I was, I had no membership or whatever, I still had the app on my phone. And because it's like I said, you become addicted, and that's what they want. They want you addicted to this stuff that you don't actually really need, or that is not too inconvenient, really, to find in a different way than just punching a button. So it takes a little bit more time. What if we were more intentional with our time and see what a difference that would make, right? Anyway, so yeah, it's just small ways. I've been putting my notes here on the actual desk, hoping that I'm not so much like all the way down here. But anyway, it's so many people have been attributed to the quote about, it takes many small hands to make great work or something like that. I don't know. But, any way to stick it to the man, seriously. I think we should have a general strike. I really do. I would love in any capacity that I can, which is not great capacity because of my chronic illness and working full time, but I could always promote it on my 12 subscriber channel. Hey, things take time, like a good wine that I don't drink. Anyway, I just thought that was really interesting that government is making them out to be the bad guys and not the actual parents of these children. I'm not a parent. This is a reason I'm not a parent, so I don't have to navigate the minefield, though it shouldn't really be that much of a minefield, but it's become a minefield of how you bring this being into the world. It just seems like way too much responsibility. And it's funny, I had a friend mention that she didn't seem to be very pro gentle parenting. And then I mentioned to her that I follow the Scholler family, and yes, they're the only family I follow on YouTube, and they're the only family I know who are using gentle parenting as their method of parenting their daughter. But they're doing a really good job. And you know what? It's really hard It's not. Gentle parenting is just letting your kid run around. Though in part it is, but there is structure there. And if Tiana is any indication, there's a reason that these types of schooling that Tiana was a part of, which is like the Finnish school system, which is considered one of the best school systems in the world. And I am 0.7% Finnish, so I feel very proud of that fact. Or the Montessori schools, where um, kids don't spend all day locked up in school behind a desk, just being taught to memorize stuff, and get not even an hour. I think we got 20 minutes recess. I mean, this was back in the 70s and, early 80s. And we stayed inside all day, unless it was a field trip. That's bad. That's not good. Anyway, and they don't allow her to have a phone. Now, she is allowed certain times to use, if not their phone, like they have like a phone that has like family friendly games that sometimes sponsor their content, but they're learning based. You can judge for yourself, but I find them all very unethical. But in fact, because of, and this is something that she's fortunate to get, because the way her parents have worked really hard to make this life for themselves and for their daughter. I think on like one of the last videos, they had like a teacher parent conference, and they said Tiana was like one of the most compassionate, kind, empathetic, friendly kid she'd ever known. And that's what we need in this world, because that can overcome anything. A collective that in a big jar with all of us in it. Where am I? 13 years. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to go with that next story or not, considering that's right. Yeah. Like I said, and the parents are teaching them. I just moved and just started kind of run over again. But the parents are teaching them through them seeing their parents on their phones all the time. And they say it's a necessary evil, but it's a made up one. I don't know if I believe in evil. I think it was humanly derived from this delusion that technology is going to save us, and separation somehow is going to save us. I'm getting deep. And then I saw, it was on my IG too, that these women in London, they did, I think it was on the art. I'll see if I can link the IG I reposted it from. Art and music, or art and life. I'll put it down below if I remember. But it was not a parade, but it was like, it's like kind of the last march of dairy cows, and except it was all women, and they had the little suckers attached to their breasts with pipes going down to a canister with liquid coming out of And the metaphor was not lost on me. You know, once when I was at my Uncle Tom's farm, my great Uncle Tom's farm, I witnessed a cow's murder, death, and slaughtering. Why I was allowed to watch this at my age? Because this must have been in the early 80s, so I was probably in my early teens. Why I didn't walk away, I don't know. Maybe it was drama, because something deep inside of me saw a parallel that she was being killed because she was spent. So she's probably 5 or 6 years old. They can live to be in their 20s, late teens, 20s. I don't hold me on that, but much longer. Plus, we're bringing them into the world that they do not need to be in. You know what I'm saying? We don't need dairy cows. We can become wild cows. But they were all wild cows at one point. Here I am. I'm being Jane. I will not compare myself to Jane Goodall, but I'm sounding all like I know scientists what I'm talking about. But anyway, so apparently she was spent because you can only be pregnant so many times. And this is by rape. The human puts a glove on and he sticks his arm in and artificially inseminates her against her will, I believe. What, you think that's the right thing? There's something humane about doing that? Especially since when the baby is born, the baby is then taken from the mother. And the milk that was meant for that calf, her calf, that she spent, cows gestation's about 9 months too. And anyway, so you do that, repeat that traumatic cycle for her, very traumatic cycle for her, and not very lovely accommodations. And hers weren't even the worst I've seen. Some of them never see the light of day, let's just put it that way. They're in like steel buildings. Look it up. Anyway, so she wasn't producing enough milk to be a productive resource anymore. And that's why they call, like human resources, it's so degrading. Because it says exactly what they think of us. We're just something to use to their benefit. And that's what people say cows are, or a commodity. Capita comes from head, like the head of a cow or a steer or a head of cattle. That's where that all started. When agriculture started, that's when things went downhill very fast. We haven't been on, relatively speaking, I would say galaxy-wise or universe-wise, it's happened very fast. We've gone downhill really fast. Anyway, so I was allowed to see her be shot in the head between the eyes, and then she dropped to the floor, and they placed, and I'm sure my Uncle Tom was there. Well, not quite sure. He was getting on, so I don't know if he did it, but he probably did. Anyway, I can't remember who did it, but it was probably him with 2 hands, or 2 helpers or something like that. It's a cow. She's a cow. She's a just shot in the head cow who is now falling to the floor and to the cement floor and is having a rope tied around one of her hooves, her legs, and she's being hoisted up to hang by one of her legs. And then she is sliced down the middle of her belly to her throat to bleed her out. Which she did. And I remember saying, as her bladder fell out with all of her entrails, I said, she's still peeing. Because I saw the bladder and urine coming out as the steam rose from this animal purely here for human consumption and treated thus. And then she was butchered, and she filled my uncle's freezer for whatever, you know. And so seeing that, and especially being the daughter of a rapist, that hit hard for me. And this was going to be a much funnier video. What happened, Lady Bell? There you go. Say hi to the people. She's got a new thing on. It's cute. So cute. It's just that I felt I'm trying to maintain a sense of powerfulness against the system at play right now. And I guess that's just what I'm suggesting to others. You know, I know it's less of an inconvenience to not have things at a, 24 hours or less after we're so used to now having everything just like that. But you know what? Like I said, when I started listening to albums in full and started listening to terrestrial radio with its, ads, which weren't plenty because I was mostly listening to public radio, which you should support too. I support WQXR. I listened to them every morning, so I felt, and they were just having a fundraiser because, of course, the government took away their budgets. Public radio's budget or funding, which is thinking. And this time I said it's this yearly thing, but it's not the smallest you can do, but it's something. And because I love, especially listening to them in the morning, I love Jeff Spurgeon. Hey, Jeff, if you ever watch, he's got a great, he's a radio guy, so he's got a wonderful morning voice. And I like the fact that it's definitely like what's the word? Not like manly voice, but what does that mean? But it's a strong voice, but it also has like a very slight jocularitiness to it. Yes, I just made up that word. Anyway, so I'm very proud to sponsor them a little I can, but every little bit helps, and that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe go a month or a week without buying something from Amazon or Whole Foods, which is owned by Amazon. And Amazon does a lot of bad things. And listen, it took me until within the last year, well, ever since the election, and actually a few times after the election, I did stop at Whole Foods. So it took me probably like a full 2 months to after the election to not. It was on my way home from work, right? Right? But you know what? So are two other grocery stores. Or do I necessarily need what's, you know, yes, they have fabulous, like, vegan options or whatever, but they're expensive as hell. And then there was like too much choice. I know that sounds strange, someone as a vegan, to say too many vegan choices, but I guess for me, because I always pick like the less, I can't remember the name of the company, but they made a gluten-free vegan pizza, a series of gluten-free vegan pizzas. Bonza brand. Also, not sponsored, but I use their pasta all the time. It's delicious. It's chickpea pasta. Um, or I have used theirs until I went to Trader Joe's, and now I use Trader Joe's. But the Bonza brand is very good too. And where was I going with this? What was I going to say? Oh, anyway, so something about Trader Joe's and pasta. Oh yeah, so I was eating less healthfully at Whole Foods. Since I stopped eating at Whole Foods, and I don't know how much to attribute it to Whole Foods. Plus, just the cost of having it delivered to me, because that was one of the things. Because I have RA, it was a convenience, and I felt a needed enough, a necessary enough one, because I have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, and I have yet to be in remission, and doctor situation is always changing here in the Big Apple, and it makes it really hard to get a long-term, to see if a regimen will work, because you have to keep changing doctors, and then you have to start the whole process over again. It's just, but that's the way the oligarchs want it. They want it all privatized, and they want it all. And I'm totally bogarting this from that Chris Hedges, but he was saying all the things, he was articulating all the things that I've been thinking for a long time now, a relatively long time now. That yeah, we've never, and I guess people said, oh yeah, we've always been like a something republic, or republic, national republic, or whatever the fuck it was called, I can't remember. But everybody's been, both Republicans and Democrats have both been chucking around the word democracy a lot. And it turns out we really don't have it. They like us to think that this is democracy is, but it's not. It's not what democracy is. Well, most people don't have rights. And I said this in my IG post too. You know, can't enjoy, and they're not rights, like George Carlin said. They're privileges that can easily be snatched away, depending on which religion is in charge, or which fascist dictator is in charge, and who, if they believe in hell, will go to hell. Just so you're doing the things that make people go to hell, that send people to hell. And I don't believe in it. If only, that would be great. But I don't believe in it. But if you do, I want to rethink this whole totalitarianism-ish um, shitstorm we've got going on here. Because it is, as he said, tyranny or revolution. And I don't know if we have what it takes for revolution. I'm ready, because, oh, and that's where I was going with before. It always felt like I never belonged anywhere. So, I never really had a home. This is probably the most the last two homes will probably be, no, I've had a few homes that have felt like home to me, but most of them have not felt like home. And, I don't know what that's gonna be. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. But vote. If you don't vote, you end up voting anyway. You might as well vote. And then there's a record of you having voted. Because when you don't vote, you're actually casting a vote for probably the person you don't want in. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, see if you can give up the, you know, if you watch the full reel of that Chris Hedges video, he goes into, you know, just what I see everybody doing, just staring at their phones and at their apps. And I'm sure some are reading through Amazon. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I understand, and I used to use Amazon all the time too, and like I said, it took me a long time to let go. Some of it was because of my RA, but I have been able to walk and actually make my little Sunday morning treat. I've made it. I take my bags and I try to get there soon after. And I have my little way around the store. I have my way I go around the store and get my things. And I know Trader Joe's isn't perfect either. There's no perfect place. But and also I have to say, I have lost, like I said, I've lost weight since I started buying solely at Trader Joe's. When I moved here, I weighed 139, I think, was the last time I was weighed, or the first time I was weighed when I was here. Sorry, I'm parched. Oh, and I'm almost over, and I'm over. But anyway, I just went to the doctor, my new rheumatologist, and she's lovely, and it looks like we're getting things rolling, and that's wonderful news, because it's a nightmare, and I am copyrighted that for your edification. But, damn it, God damn it, so that went hard. Oh, yeah, so when I went to see my rheumatologist, kicking in people, when I went to see my rheumatologist, this new rheumatologist last week, I now weigh 114.5 or 2 pounds. I can't remember which. And I did do a little like whole food plant-based no oil at the beginning of this year to see if it would help. Women tend to get, or they've been told so often that they actually started evolving that way. They tend to get this middle age pouch. I guess maybe, I don't know if it's more so if you have children too, biological children. But I always had that, and I have a feeling now that a lot of it has to do with chronic stress and chronic unhealed trauma. My mom has it. My sister has it. But after I went to whole food, plant-based, no oil, and I do that now about, I guess, 80% of the time, I have lost, 138 to 114. what is that? That's like over 20 pounds that I've lost without really changing what I eat, except I don't buy all the extra goodies that Whole Foods has that are very expensive. But um, like I said, I love that Banza pizza, but I would eat the whole thing in one sitting. And it doesn't matter if it's vegan or not. You shouldn't be overeating. And but yeah, it's it's harder to get through the store without buying extra stuff because they carry so many options. As but I mean, Trader Joe's to me, I have adapted very well to it. Uh, there are one or two things that I would change, but first of all, just make it all vegan, and then you don't have to worry about us looking up what items are vegan at Trader Joe's. Just make all of your like hair care, body products, and foods too, obviously. But just make it all vegan. That would be great. But there was another thing too, but I can't remember what it is at the time. And I'm going past my time, and I said I wouldn't go past like 45 minutes, and I have. But as one of my first vegan mentors, Colleen Patrick-Goudreau said, "Don't do nothing because you can't do because you can't do everything. Do something, anything." And on that note, I'll leave you. I'm going to burn my hand first. Oh God, I'm getting a wheeze. I hope I'm not getting sick. All right, I got my hand ready to do that. My hair looks a little. I have to wash it. It's a little sad. But anyway, have a good night, guys. Peace.